standing, please. The Master of the Lodge is Charles Oxley. Secretary, John Arola. And then we have several members of the Masons and their families. We have Robert Moore, Mayor Mike Price, Austin Griffin, Kenneth Word, Eddie Needham, Robbie Kitchens, Jim Porter, Albus Woodall, and Roy Wood. Did I get them all? We greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to come here, and especially appreciate all the work you've done for this presentation. And I'll get to that in a little while, and one of them will be up here, he can tell you a little bit about the Masons and what that's about. But we're here today to celebrate two great big deals with one special student. And what we're going to celebrate, first of all, is the fact that our favorite guy, Fernando, who has been in his wheelchair for most of the school year, he went to the doctor yesterday, and Fernando was told it's time to start using his walker again. So we are excited about that. But as you all know, using this walker can be pretty exhausting. And it's especially exhausting whenever he has to go out to the facility, because what's between here and the facility? A great big hill. And so he has spent a lot of the year getting up that hill with this walker, or being pushed by some of you fantastic classmates will get him up that hill, because it's pretty hard. So if you've been one of his classmates who's either pushed him up the hill, or I'm going to say helped him down the hill, because it doesn't sound right to say you pushed him down the hill. So we don't want to go there. But if you have ever helped Fernando in his wheelchair, pushed him around, I want you to stand up. Great. And we greatly appreciate it. We did have to narrow it down a little bit, because some of them were kind of popping wheelies and doing some things that Fernando wasn't quite comfortable with. So we had to have a little how to get Fernando up the hill training without scaring him to death. So we calmed that down a little bit. So Fernando was in his wheelchair, and everybody was helping get him where he needed to be. He is handling it like a trooper, got some big guns on his arms now from all that pushing that chair. And one day, one of our teachers, Miss Gerber, mentioned that maybe we could find a way to get Fernando a motorized wheelchair. So she mentions it to David Wilkins. David Wilkins mentions it to Eddie Needham. And we all know what happens when you mention something to Eddie Needham. It happens, and it happens fast. So I think what happened, I'm going to try to make sure I cover everybody in this. Eddie spoke with the Masons, and the Masons, part of their ministry and their service is that they help people out who need it. And they recognized the need in Fernando. And they recognized that a motorized wheelchair would be a great benefit to him. So they start working to try to get Fernando a wheelchair. So we had Carmen Sandia. Carmen would contact his mom. Carmen helped mom fill out the application. So several people contributed ideas and things for the application. We submitted that to the Masons. And the next thing we knew, we had this. It has a seatbelt, which he needed in that other one with all you guys pushing him around. I thought I had the coolest ride in town until this showed up. just another example of how the community of Hico comes together to help. There were so many people involved in this. The interesting thing was that when we started working on this, we thought we were going to have to either pay for part of the wheelchair or we were going to have to pay shipping. So I sent an email to all the teachers and said, hey, we're working on this thing for Fernando. If you want to contribute, you can contribute. Before I knew it, I had over $200. And we did not have to pay a dime. The Masons covered every penny of this. So to buy a few accessories. We'll get you something to hang your backpack on the back here, and we'll get you some racing stripes or something. Turbo booster maybe. Get a turbo booster on. There you go. A louder horn. But we'll get some things to fix it up for Fernando. And before I turn it over to Mr. Arola, there's one more thing that I want to say. And I really want you students to listen to this, because this is probably the greatest message that you can get from this presentation. Fernando has a physical therapist who comes and works with him every week, and his name is Arthur. And when I told Arthur that we were able to get him a motorized wheelchair, he was like, now he needs to be using that walker because he needs to get his strength up. So I promised him that Fernando would only use it to go up the hill to the facility and in times when he needed it, if we go on a field trip or something, so that we would help Fernando, get his strength up and keep that going. But Arthur came in my office yesterday and he said, I need to tell you something that I want you to share with the people at the presentation tomorrow. He said, I serve 90 kids in the entire Waco area. He comes from Waco, and he said, never ever have I seen a community like Hico. I don't know if you guys know this, if you didn't see this on the Facebook page, but Fernando needed a wheelchair ramp at his house, and Arthur said that he was going to do an application to the government program that helps build wheelchair ramps, and he said, when you do an application, even if you say it is an emergency, we've got to have it right now. The earliest you will get that wheelchair ramp built is in 2 months. We said, hey, Fernando needs a wheelchair ramp. The maintenance staff, Eddie, Sam, David, Micah, Robbie, all of them, they built a wheelchair ramp at Fernando's house in 2 days. 2 days. Now, you guys need to understand that that doesn't happen in every community. Hico is a very special place, and some of you seniors, you cannot wait to get out of here, and I get that. You're ready to move on, but do not ever forget the community that you came from. And we don't just do it because Fernando is the coolest guy on the street. We love Fernando, and everybody knows how sweet Fernando is, but it's not just because it's Fernando. Our community would do that for anyone who needs it. So please don't take that for granted. And as you grow up and you have your own families and you join your own communities, remember what it was like to be a part of Hico and to be in a place where everybody drops everything to help you. And so to the Masons, thank you so much for the part that you played. And to our teachers and community,
thank you, Mrs. Stiegel. I say that right, Stiegel. Okay. Just a little bit of history and then a letter from the Masonic Home and School. The Masonic Home and School has been around for over a century and used to have a school where children would attend that school. Now they're funding children that need help in different community schools. So they spend money on schooling as well as medical type things. The Hico Masonic Lodge was formed in Hico in 1877, back on Honey Creek. And the Masons built a 2-story building where we had our Masonic Lodge on the second floor, and the first floor was the first school in Hyco. So the Masons have been here in Hyco as well as around Texas supporting school-age children. And a couple of things that we do, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, you guys are probably a little too old, but a few years back, I don't remember how many, we started with our first graders, giving them toothbrushes and help on learning to brush their teeth and take care of their teeth. And that's done every year now. And then we've also, for many, many years, given scholarships to graduating seniors. And we have increased that over the years, from starting at several $100s to $500 to this past year, we awarded 3 $1,000 scholarships to graduating seniors from Hyco High School. So we have a long history with Hyco, and of course the guys that are sitting here, some of them went to school here in Hyco, and many of them have children that have gone to Hyco. So we appreciate Fernando, we appreciate all of you. And by the way, if you guys, when you turn 18, you can become a Mason. All you have to do is ask one to know one, okay? So let me read. The Masonic Home and School wanted to have somebody here, but Eddie was so fast in getting things fixed that they didn't have the time to get somebody, so they sent me a letter. And it says, for more than a century, the Masonic Home and School of Texas has been helping to improve the lives of children and families across the state of Texas. So when we were recently contacted by the Hyco Masonic Lodge with a request to help fund an electric wheelchair for a young man in their community, we were honored to be able to be part of the effort to improve his quality of life. Along with the application for funding, we received a letter about Fernando from Principal Shelley Stiegel and another letter from the Hyco Lodge. Thanks to the generosity of the Masonic community, Masonic Home and School was able to fund the request in full so that Fernando can participate in the activities that he enjoys. If you know of a child that needs help, please contact a Mason. Thank you.
Thank you for all those people and for helping me out a lot when I needed it.
Like I said, the community of Hyco would do this for anybody, but it sure is easy to do it for somebody like Fernando. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to all of you for interrupting your day to be here in the middle of the day as we celebrate this great thing. And look out in the hallways, guys, because somebody's going to be smoking through there. So I don't know if that horn is loud enough for y'all to get out of the way in time. So look out for Speedy Fernando now. If any of you would like to stay and take pictures with Fernando, we want to get a picture with his mom for sure. And I did not recognize her. We are so excited to have Fernando's mother here. So she will over there take some pictures and do our thing here, but you guys are free to go whenever you're ready. Thank you again for being here. Y'all want to get